Take a deep breath of lavender essential oil, and within 60 seconds, measurable changes occur in your brain chemistry. Your heart rate slows. Cortisol levels drop. Different neural networks activate. This isn't placebo, it's neuroscience. And the mechanisms behind how essential oils affect your brain are more fascinating than most people realize. Today, we're diving into peer-reviewed neuroscience research to understand exactly what happens in your brain when you're exposed to essential oils. First, let's talk about how scent reaches your brain because it's fundamentally different from your other senses. Your nose contains approximately 400 different types of olfactory receptors. Your body has over 1,000 genes dedicated just to encoding for odor detection, more genetic material than almost any other function. When you inhale an essential oil, volatile molecules travel through your nasal cavity and bind to these olfactory receptors. But here's what makes smell unique. These receptors connect directly to your olfactory bulb, which sits at the base of your brain. From there, signals travel immediately to your limbic system, specifically the amygdala and hippocampus. The amygdala processes emotions and fear responses. The hippocampus handles memory formation and retrieval. This is why certain scents can instantly trigger specific memories or emotional states. There's a direct neural highway from your nose to your brain's emotional control center. No other sense has this direct access. Vision, hearing, touch, and taste all get processed through the thalamus first, like a relay station. But smell goes straight to the limbic system. This is why aromatherapy can create such immediate psychological effects. So what actually happens when essential oils reach your brain? A 2019 clinical trial at the University of Vienna studied 221 patients with anxiety disorders. They used lavender essential oil and tracked neural activity with brain scans. The results showed that linalool, the primary compound in lavender, was literally changing brain activity patterns in the amygdala. The fear center of the brain showed reduced activation. But it gets more interesting. Biochemical analysis showed linalool binds to the same GABA receptors as pharmaceutical anti-anxiety medications. GABA is your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. It calms neural activity. When linalool activates GABA receptors, it produces reduced neural firing in anxiety circuits, decreased cortisol production, lowered heart rate and blood pressure, increased parasympathetic nervous system activity. A network meta-analysis of 44 randomized controlled trials involving 3,419 patients confirmed these effects. Lavender essential oil showed statistically significant reductions in anxiety scores with moderate to large effect sizes. Peppermint and cognitive function. Research on peppermint oil shows different mechanisms. When inhaled, compounds like menthol increase cerebral blood flow, literally more blood reaches your brain. Studies using functional MRI scans show that peppermint oil inhalation activates the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, areas associated with alertness and attention. Clinical trials found that participants exposed to peppermint oil showed improved memory recall, faster reaction times, better sustained attention on cognitive tasks, reduced mental fatigue. Frankincense and neuroplasticity. Recent 2024 research showed frankincense affects gene expression related to cognitive resilience. Brain scans revealed increased activity in areas associated with neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections. Studies suggest insensilyl acetate, a compound in frankincense, may influence protein kinase pathways involved in learning and memory. One of the most studied effects is how essential oils modulate your stress response. When you experience stress, your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or HPA axis, activates. This triggers cortisol release, increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and heightened alertness. Research shows specific essential oils can interrupt this cascade. Lavender. Multiple studies demonstrate that lavender inhalation reduces cortisol levels by 20 to 30% within 30 minutes, decreases systolic blood pressure, lowers heart rate variability toward parasympathetic dominance, increases alpha and theta brainwave activity associated with relaxation. A 2023 study using electroencephalography EEG, showed that lavender exposure increased alpha brain waves in the frontal cortex within 3 minutes. Alpha waves are associated with calm, relaxed alertness. Bergamot. Clinical research on bergamot oil shows it affects neurotransmitter systems. Studies found that bergamot inhalation modulates dopamine and serotonin pathways, reduces subjective stress levels in controlled trials, improves mood scores on validated psychological assessments. A randomized controlled trial with healthcare workers showed that regular bergamot aromatherapy reduced job-related stress and improved mental well-being scores. Ylang ylang. Research indicates ylang ylang oil affects autonomic nervous system balance. Studies measuring heart rate variability found that ylang ylang increased parasympathetic activity, the rest and digest state, while reducing sympathetic fight or flight activation. But smell isn't the only route to your brain. Essential oil compounds can also reach your brain through your bloodstream. Pharmacokinetic studies track how essential oil compounds move through your body. Research shows, when applied topically to skin, small lipophilic molecules penetrate the epidermis, they enter capillaries and reach systemic circulation. Compounds can cross the blood-brain barrier. Peak blood concentration occurs 30 to 90 minutes after application. When taken internally, absorption occurs in the digestive tract, first past metabolism in the liver. Compounds enter bloodstream and distribute throughout body. Some terpenes and volatile compounds reach brain tissue. A clinical study measured lavender oil concentrations in blood plasma after oral ingestion of 300 milligrams capsules. Peak concentration occurred at 1 to 2 hours, with measurable levels remaining for 6 to 8 hours. This explains why some essential oil effects are immediate while others build over time. But here's the critical point. These pharmacokinetic studies used pure, therapeutic-grade essential oils with verified chemical composition. The bioavailability and effects depend entirely on oil purity and quality. The neuroscience of essential oils is remarkable. We're not talking about vague energy or mystical properties. We're talking about measurable changes in brain chemistry, neural activation patterns, and neurotransmitter systems. Clinical research shows essential oils affect GABA receptors and anxiety circuits, cortisol production and stress responses, cerebral blood flow and cognitive function, gene expression related to neuroplasticity, autonomic nervous system balance. The direct connection from your olfactory system to your limbic system means scent has unique access to your emotional brain. And the ability of certain compounds to cross the blood-brain barrier means systemic effects are possible too. This is why aromatherapy isn't just pleasant, it's pharmacologically active. Your brain responds to these compounds in specific, measurable ways. Understanding the neuroscience helps explain thousands of years of traditional use and guides us toward evidence-based applications. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more neuroscience and research-backed essential oil education.